I have, yeah, I also have a secretary now. Always.
All right, I got 6 o'clock. Call student to order. Jennifer's not going to be here.
So talk slow and use small words.
Pledge allegiance by the.
So we do have the elementary students, Mrs. Mayman?
We should have a little bite. These guys, these ladies and gentlemen, see, look at all your fans. Come on. Are.
No.
Oh, that was it. Oh. All right. These, ladies and gentlemen, are our students of the month for good character. And there's many more, but they were lucky enough, or we're lucky enough for them to show up. And you're gonna help us do the pledge? Yeah? No, let's do this. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all looking at me, are we doing?
Sure.
I
To the flag of the state of Mexico is the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
This is Aiden Griffin from Mrs. Flores's preschool. Oh, you're, I don't know, Laura. You can go around, all right. Dante Gutierrez, Mrs. Rodriguez's 6th grade. Connor Sanders for Mrs. Foster's 5th grade. Stephen Calamontes from Mrs. Lopez's 3rd grade. One better. Oh, Linda's still out there. Are you shy, Linda? Oh, she's too shy. Okay, Linda Montez for Mrs. Lucero Skater. Zelvaya Aguilar. Mrs. Grotto's 3K. Star. Deanna Cuellar from 5th grade and 6th grade. And then I'm gonna go. A.R. Olivas. No, let's stick it together. Zayla Martell, Mrs. Carline's 1st grade.
students.
you.
And thank you, parents. It's up to you if you like to stay, but you don't have to. Thank you for bringing it.
Okay. No changes to the agenda, Ms. Reyes? If there's no questions, just need a motion to approve. I need a motion. By Dustin.
Second.
Trevor. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All those opposed say nay. Okay. Public comment. Public comments. 3 minutes. Boards won't comment on anything, so. But you have 3 minutes. So speak it well. No? Okay. Moving on, going.
I do.
Okay.
And I'm not sure this is the appropriate time to do this. I haven't been to a Hagerman board meeting yet. But I have some concerns about the cheer uniforms that the girls had worn at the first home game. After their first home game, they were told that they were no longer allowed to wear those uniforms because they didn't cover enough of them, I guess. They're the exact same uniforms that the track team is wearing. So I'm confused as to why it's different for them as opposed to the track team.
So, and public comment, you say what's on your mind and we just have to listen, we can't.
I gotcha.
Okay.
Any other comments? Thank you. Administrative reports, the first one's Ms. Jones, business, finance.
Just kind of go over the budget adjustments. We were gone last week, and we were telling Carmen to NASPO meeting Albuquerque the last week. So, a lot of interesting things, and thinking about AI, so utilizing AI is going to be a big topic. Right or wrong.
It's a huge topic, especially like at the meetings in Albuquerque, and it's
Yeah, and
coming down strong.
it is, and I mean, there's probably not even policies in place for all of it, but anyway, it'll be on the agenda someday, but it looks like it will do a lot of good things, but so it's whatever you put into it is what your output's gonna be, so. Some people are learning for fear, I'm sure.
I know legal is still looking into,
Are y'all-
even at like the school board, the Albuquerque, the Santa Fe levels are still looking at how to put policies in place for it.
Yeah, but it's here to stay, it's not going away. We all just have to know.
It's very new to us and, it is a game changer. I think, the majority of us use it all the time right now. The issue is the plagiarism that is, going on in the classroom. And I know, and we're still learning from this, but I know that we probably have to have a policy in place. And that would be, forthcoming because the state, they still don't know exactly what they would be having. But then, once the state knows what they want to do, then we definitely need to have a policy in place because it's being utilized incorrectly. However, it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I mean, I think all of us in this room, we use AI to a certain point. I mean, this is like almost on a daily basis with our cell phones, etc. But it's really not going away. I'm thinking maybe, probably at another board meeting, Mr. Parker, he actually did a training, and I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but no, he actually did a training for, at the EFA.
The new ag teachers, so I was able to train all of them on different procedures to use AI and the methods. It is a weird world. There's so many different things out there you can use it for. Mr. Hempel is one of the students in that class, and I don't know, what do you think of it?
It was good. I use it a lot for writing professional emails to staff members or to parents. I'll type it a specific way and write this more professional, and then I send it to whomever I need.
So there's a lot of cool resources on it. I'd be happy to do a presentation, explain it a little bit. There's new AI platforms coming out every day.
But again, it is a game changer, it's here to stay, it's just what we need to put in place so that we are covered, because it's being used daily. So we're gonna need to take it.
Oh, that's great. Because I don't know, think about it too, there's some dangers.
It's a good tool.
It
I
is.
use it every day.
Yes. You know, it is recommended that for staff, if you use it, you can use 20% of your own content and then 80% of AI, and it's okay, because, as a staff member, you know exactly what you want to do. With the students, it should be 80% of the content should be the students and 20% AI. But what's happening is that many of the students, all they do is just copy and paste, and here's, my work, when, that's not the issue.
I'm following a guy on TikTok. TikTok's a great resource for education.
It's not all jokes.
Yeah, but he actually goes about topics like how to teach students to properly use AI, and I've used it in times to the kids struggling to come up with a topic regarding animal rights or something. You put it in there, give me 10, 15 points about animal rights to help them start thinking about a speech or things like that. And so there's some really crazy things you can do with it, and the more effort you put into it, the more effort comes out of it. So it's not just be okay, what is this? You have to put some detail into it, and it learns to you, and it's going to write like you the longer you use it. Really creepy, but there's some cool resources. It can save you some time on some things.
This first one is the New Mexico Grown Grant. We've had it in the past. It's not a lot of money, but we say it gets things at grapes, garden, usually preaching and different things. So something that's their lunches and all. And then the next biggie is that SEQ budget adjustment. Got some big money there. Here was just a few of the things I'm going to put that towards. I really haven't gotten with Ms. Reyes to work out all the rest of it with the buildings. But definitely shore up our budget. And then the next one is that literal education grant. We do it pretty much every year. And it's, you can pretty much use it any education related. I've used it for tutoring in the past. I've bought copy paper with it. But you can do a lot with it, and, as long as it's education related. It's pretty good use for that. Anyway, they're all increases, so happy to hear that, and that's about all I have on it.
It's a good thing. Any questions, Ms. Jones? Okay. Maintenance, Mr. Burke.
Air conditioning season is finally slowing down a bit since it has cooled down. Middle of August and the first week of September, we replaced lots of start capacitors and fuses, high temperature and voltage drops. We got the 4-burner stove installed in the cafeteria and waiting on a heavy duty table with caster wheels for the griddle due to its heavy weight. We striped and prepared the football field for the first game on August the 30th, and repeated again this Thursday for Friday's homecoming game. Middle school fire alarm is having issues, or a fire alarm technician will be here tomorrow to get it back to normal. We also installed a swap cooler for the referee room at the football field. Rico is coming by to do a courtesy for us, put a new rope up our flagpole with their bucket truck. Fire marshal is coming in on Wednesday to building safety inspection.
Questions?
So the fire alarms in the middle school, what's the issue?
It's got a short end somewhere in the panel pad after that last high wind we had about a week and a half ago. Started giving us problems. I called him that day, weeks, finally getting here tomorrow.
Yeah, we had a fire drill at week 4 when they didn't go off. So I tried to sound it with a siren, it was not successful. It's gonna be interesting.
How often do we test those alarms?
Gary, how often do so the custodians, they have to check them once a month, correct, Gary?
That's the fire extinguisher. Usually on these fire panels, it'll start beeping at us and giving us a notice. And then when they check it, it's usually during the fire drills. How often do y'all have them?
The first month of school, we have to have one a week, and then we have one a month thereafter. That, Gary has mentioned the fire panel, the middle school one is in my office, so I'm a little more aware of it. And it has had some issues, probably since the start of school, maybe a little bit over the summer. It's not as noticeable during the summer because we're not in the building as much, but more than welcome to come look at it. It's an interesting system with lots of little wires.
But the technician's coming this week.
He'll be here tomorrow. He was supposed to be in here today, but he had a family issue.
Any other questions? Thank you. I don't know who's going to do spec, Mr. Williams or.
I'm subbing, I guess. I won't be as fluent.
There you go.
As fluent with them. We are up to 213 students. Our pre-K is up to 36. Since the last board meeting, we've gained 2 more students, but lost 1. We've had our open house on August 20th. It wasn't very big as previous years. And we've had our house day that we're implementing the house points. We've had our house day where all the kids divided up into our house and they broke up into grade bands. And we learned our chants and our little dance routines that go with it. And then we played lots of games. The kids loved it. We weren't bad, the teachers. And the kids have been earning a lot of points so far. They're looking forward. Our next step should be that we're going to start doing like a house store where they can spend the points for them earning. But the kids are noticing we have the TV in the front by the office that shows who's getting points and for what. And the kids watch that like a hawk. They're into it. They're proud to be the color they are. And they'll give you your signals. Anytime you say, what house are you in? They'll give you their signals and do it. So that's working in a positive. We're also doing the Capturing Kids' Hearts, where we greet every day the students. The teachers go out at recess 5 minutes early, and we mingle before we line them up. And then when they walk in, we've got music playing. When they get out of the cars, get music playing going down the halls. Everybody that's on staff, like when I walk my students down, everybody that doesn't have a classroom is high-fiving. I've got a couple of kids in my class that even hug. That they're excited. And when somebody's not there, they notice that teacher's not there, So that's been very beneficial. And when they walk in, knuckle bumps, high fives, how you doing before they go into the class. We do give me some good things, something that's happened good today, or even before you got to school. You saw we have super readers every month. and amazing mathematicians that we award. And then they did preschool hosted child find that maybe a handful, maybe 10 or maybe 10 families came to sort of get their preschooler in screened. So we're hoping our numbers will climb. You saw our students of the month, some of them. And let's see, we have this Thursday, we have the PTO game night. That if you can come, we're going to be in the cafeteria. Students can come and play all sorts of, and it had to do with a Hasbro donation. And they give it, so family engagement night. And now we're knocking on the door of our first Mesa.
Questions?
That was a little,
Where's
Sounds like
Mr. Williams?
his grandmother.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Sounds like a good time in the elementary. I guess. No questions? Thank you. SRO,
I'll just go for that. So we've actually had a good start to the year. We haven't had too many law enforcement related issues. Minor fender bender in pickup and little criminal damage incident. And I think our biggest concern is the little fox. But
He's not been back.
I know.
It's the one incident.
he
so.
has.
Oh.
He's around. But he's I don't know. He's weird. He comes out during the day, which is a little unusual. But he doesn't show any signs of disease or anything like that. But he definitely likes to be out during the day, and he likes to watch the kids from the field. But he hasn't done anything aggressive or tried to do anything. If he does, we will. But we've gotten lots of reports and concerns about this little guy. He gets around during the day, so it does hang out at the school some. But that's been about the biggest problem we've had.
It's a fox.
Is a fox.
We tried to capture him on the weekend once.
He's actually
I caught a
really
cat
nice.
instead. That's a very unhappy cat.
No, he's weird. He just hangs out during the day, and he's not afraid of people. He comes to the police department all the time too. Like I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's not sick, or there's no signs that he's sick or anything like that. And he doesn't try to attack you or do anything. He just will sit and watch and hang out. But I mean, if it comes to it, we'll take care of it if we need to. But as of right now, he just kind of hanging out during the day, being weird.
And our new SRO, he is just as happy as
He is. He's very happy, and
Very,
I
very
haven't heard any complaints so far. And the other thing is, I haven't gotten with Ms. Riss yet. I was going to tomorrow, but we also we're planning on trying to use the school to do some of our active shooter training, law enforcement only training, not during school hours, of course, but just for us and between us and Dexter hiring new people and stuff like that. We'd like to go through each school, Dexter, Hagerman, and Lake Arthur, and run a couple drills a couple times every couple months, just to do some scenarios. So that was something that we were going to try to set up and utilize and do too. But yes, he wasn't able to be here tonight for personal reasons, but he'll be at the next ones.
So if you, I don't know if you ever get to read my newsletters that I put out on Sundays. I do have a picture of him, of Mr. Harrington, and this is what his short bio here. It says, my name is Milton Harrington, and I was born and raised in Roswell, New Mexico, with a brief time spent in Oklahoma. I graduated from Roswell High School in 1990. I've been married to my wife, Nicole, for 16 years, and we are blessed with 3 amazing children, Faith 15, Hope 13, and Luke 10. I served as a certified police officer for 24 years, working with the Roswell Police Department, NMMI, Dexter, and now Hagerman. This is my first assignment as a school resource officer, and the transition from patrol work to serving in a school setting has been smooth. I look forward to building a positive relationships with both the students and the staff. Let's go green. And he's very happy, every day he'll go and talk to me and he'll say, thank you for having me here. And he's like, I know you're not my immediate boss, but thank you very much. Every day he'll go in there. And then he does the same with the teachers. I mean, he's just building relationships with the kids. So he's doing a very good job. And I believe he is going to do a training next month, correct?
In October, yes, he goes, I believe it is October 13th or somewhere along those lines, he'll go get that NASRO certification that's required. That's the earliest we could get him in within a reasonable location.
And he's doing just exactly what we need from an SRO, touring the buildings, and he'll alternate between middle school, the high school, and then with the elementary kids. I mean, he's doing a fabulous.
And he is loving it, and he lets me know every day how much he loves himself.
Nice. That's good. Any questions?
And the only other thing, I don't know if it's a concern of yours, but it was a concern of mine. The original plan was for the new Durango that's clearly marked and all that to be the SRO unit. He opted to take my old Tahoe, which is unmarked, but we are getting that marked, so there will be an actual marked police car that he will be driving soon. It goes up next week to get the radar installed and the decals put. So there's actually a marked police unit here because right now it's just my old unmarked Tahoe, but it will be marked. It's going in next week. So after that, there will be an actual marked police unit here that he will be driving regularly. So.
Good. Question? Thank you. Middle school and high school.
Middle school, high school, secondary report. So we'll start with enrollment numbers for, right now, 6th grade is 31, 7th grade 23, and 8th grade 14 for a total of 68 in the middle school. At the high school, we have 102, which breaks down to 18 ninth graders, 30 sophomores, 29 juniors, and 25 seniors. So altogether in both buildings, we have 170 students. Other things, I'd like to introduce our newest staff member, Mr. James Richards is our new business teacher. He joined us last Wednesday. We're happy to have him with us. Other middle school things going on in the middle school. We have a lot of interventions and things started. We have, of course, our 6th graders are engaged in the high dosage math tutoring. That's virtual tutoring that they get 4 days a week with tutors that were hired through the high dosage math tutoring program. They're facilitated. We have 2 classroom teachers that facilitate that process for them to get tutoring. We bought the IXL intervention programs, and it's all 4 course subjects available for grades 6 through 8. And they just got that last week and they're starting to use it. It's looking to be very promising. English, language arts, and math got their NAMASA test prep materials. And they will start using those to prepare for the end of year testing that they have to do. We have access to something called Varsity Tutors. It's 100% free resource, and it's for all students, but we're using it primarily here in the middle school. They can do all kinds of virtual tutoring and learn about things like coding and robotics and different topics. So they want to just learn the little informational videos and things that they can do. It also has it where they can upload essays to it, and they get feedback in 48 hours. Like it'll give them a plagiarism report, like how much percentage of it has been written. They can tell, is it AI written? Is it, cut and paste from somewhere? And then an actual person will go through and give the students feedback on how to improve it before they have to turn it in. And there's also a 24/7 live tutor. So if your kid's at home and they're stuck on some kind of crazy math problem that you don't know how to help them with, they can get on there and say, I need help with this problem. It'll find them a live tutor and they can engage in a virtual tutor at home or even here at school if they needed a tutor here at school. Our middle school kids are all doing the life skills SEL program. I think this is our 3rd year with that program. On Fridays, they do that through their core classroom. Ms. Rains leads the instruction, and they do different activities and talk about different life skills and SEL topics. We do have somebody coming at the end of next week to do a site visit for part of that grant program that we're in. The high school, we've had a lot of things going on. The students, the juniors, I believe, took the ASVAB last week. We've had the National Guard to do a visit and presentation with them. The seniors on the 30th celebrated with a senior sunrise and did a little thing before school. And sadly, the clouds were a little obstructive that day, but it was nice gathering in the morning with burritos and donuts in the high school parking lot. And the journalism class is preparing a bi-monthly newsletter. They should have I think it'll be August and September, and it'll come out the last week of September. Have like student of the month and different little interest pieces and things like that those classes are working on. We've had an open house meeting, and it was pretty well attended. We served hot dogs in the commons area. We were going to have it outside, but it was really warm that day, and so we moved it inside. All the different departments for middle school and high school had tables where teachers could visit with parents, and kids could introduce their parents to their teachers. That kind of thing was pretty nice. We've had we've had an early release PD day, and we have another one coming up next week. On the 28th of August, we had one that we did. Comms and Associates came and did an active threat training for teachers and for all of their staff to understand what that needs to look like and how to handle those situations. On the 25th, we have Michelle Perry with CES coming, and our focus that day is going to be professional learning communities for our teachers. We've celebrated with 2 tailgate lunches for the secondary students. On the 30th, we had our first one to kind of have a hamburger hot dog cookout lunch for all of the students to celebrate our first home game, and then we'll have another one this coming Thursday for the same lunchtime period to celebrate homecoming. In the past, we've done them on Fridays, and we just felt like Thursday might take a little pressure off of what's already a pretty chaotic day on Friday. Progress reports have been distributed, and students are asked to bring those back from home with a signature. We've got I know most of the middle schoolers, we've been keeping count. The 6th graders are trying desperately to be the first class to have all of theirs back. I think they lack 4 of them. And with them being the largest class in the middle school, I was pretty impressed. We've been working hard. Attendance has been a major focus. I think Coach Rodriguez has only had to have a meeting with one student who has met the thresholds outlined in our student handbook as to excessive absenteeism. I know that Ms. Pata works every day to call to help track where students are and why we're seeing the absences that we are. The student in high school that was having an issue. It was a pretty quick fix once A-Rod got everything sorted out. Young lady needed help with transportation. We figured out what bus route she belonged on and got that squared away, I think. Ms. Pata is also helping me track daily attendance averages. I think today four of our 7 high school grades had 100% attendance here at school, and the rest of them were in the high 90s. I think our average attendance for the buildings today was 97.2% for the day. I was pretty impressive, pretty happy with that. We're still doing capturing kids' hearts and working on the early release days. We do a lot of SWAT activities to build school spirit and pride here at school with our different squads. This week is homecoming week. Lots of sports. We had middle school volleyball. Both young ladies play Lake Arthur tonight. They'll play Dexter on Thursday. They did have a win tonight, so it was very, very good to see that. Our junior varsity and varsity girls play Dexter tomorrow here. And then we have football on Friday, middle school and high school versus Mescalero. Middle school play at 4, high school play at 7. Bonfire on Thursday. I won't steal too much of Parker's thunder to talk about that. Have a parade at 1 o'clock on Friday. Pep rally hopefully by 1:45. And then I think that's all that stuff for Friday. Cross country will run at NIMI. I'm giving A-Rod's report too because he's with flag football tonight. Cross country is going to run at NIMI at 9, starting at 9 on Saturday. A-Rod, I said that we'll have 2 athletes attend an NMA leadership conference on October 1st in Cotalis. Did not give me names of who those would be. Cheer had an excellent kitty camp on our last early release day. I think that a lot of young ladies and students participate in that, and I know they're looking forward to a halftime performance at homecoming. We're excited to see that. Flag football started tonight, and they'll play their first exhibition, I guess, at the Tatum halftime in a couple weeks. As of today, before tonight's volleyball game, we had sold $1,060 in athletic passes, and Coach Rodriguez reported that we've had good gates at all of our home athletic events. 3 coaches and other staff members were CPR certified on the 4th, and that means all of our coaching staff is 100% CPR certified. And we have a couple that are working on their defensive driving and activity driver training, so they'll be able to transport students. That's all I have. So I stand for any questions, and I know Mr. Parker probably has something to add from the CTE side of things.
Any questions?
Has anything been going on?
No. Quiet. Wish there was to find something to do.
Got a lot going on.
Yes, sir.
All right, good evening. CT's wise on things. Unexpectedly, we received a check today for about $22,000. It was processed through New Mexico State University, the Agriculture Education Department. This check, all it told us was had to be spent for FFA. only FFA. And so that's always great news to help us continue building our program, continue building things like that. Other grants, I'm still holding out. Still haven't heard anything on the Harbor Freight grant. I keep checking my email every day, checking the website, checking the app. Hopefully in the next few weeks. I have a big feeling it's going to come out the week of Easter. Because of course, ag teacher life have to be when I'm doing something else. But we're looking forward to that. Our numbers are constantly growing. I know ag numbers we're sitting at 134 kids enrolled in ag. That number has doubled since my first year of teaching. So we're constantly growing, we're constantly getting bigger. I know we already have kids really interested in building contest teams, already building leadership contests and things like that. And so we're getting really excited for this year. We have some big things planned. Big thing I've been working on, I've been tracing as our 95th anniversary, 95th year since we've been chartered. For the most part, I can tell Hagerman has been chartered all 95 years. We've never been unchartered, we've never been disbanded, nothing like that. We may have had a few years where we had a missing ag teacher or something like that. But from 1947 until now, there's been 22 ag teachers, which is kind of impressive. You would think there's been a lot more, but it's great to see that we've had people show commitment and growing our program. But with that being said, I am collecting memories. I know some of you guys were in FFA and back in the day here in lovely Hagerman. But if you guys have any memories, photos, we're collecting them, do a big 95th anniversary video, things like that. Thursday. What?
Let's say he has the original charter.
I do have the original charter. It's hanging in my office. This piece of paper is from 1929, signed November 12th. Expect around that time, we're going to have a birthday party for sure on November 12th for the chapter. But alumni-wise, we're thinking about maybe doing our alumni reunion somewhere around there, celebrate and kick things off. Just because February, if you want to look at our schedule, we're gone every weekend in February. There's no stopping us this year. We leave the first weekend of February and we're gone until April. But that being said, that's all I have for today. We are excited. We do have a new business teacher. We're joining our team, so looking forward to helping that program grow as much as we can. Bonfires this Thursday. Still collecting wood up until Wednesday. That way we can have time to get it pushed up, making sure we're all good. The fire department is good to go. I believe you guys are good to go. Haven't heard anything. It's growing. Bonfire pile gets big each day. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a little bit bigger than the one last year. It's my goal to keep growing it and celebrating homecoming week with that fire. I'm working on a little surprise. I know back in the day, Jesus had a big H that he would light up for homecoming. Working on something like that for us, for our bonfire, as we get going. But for that, it's time for questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Next item. Consent motion, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of August 19th and the investments and bills for the month of August. Are there any questions? Comments? Say a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Dustin. All those in favor say aye. All those in say nay. Motion carries. New item, new business, item A, budget adjustments. Any more comments from Ms. Jolene? See a motion to approve. I get a motion. Moved by Dustin. Almost second. Second. River. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. Out of state travel for the FFA convention.
All right, good evening, school board, Ms. Reyes, Ms. Jolene, administrators. Tonight we come to ask permission to travel to the 97th National FFA Convention. It's always kind of a big deal for us to get to travel. It's on the other side of the state, or the U.S. Getting to take these kids to something new. Rowdy and Grady are the only two students that have attended National Convention on this team. We have some great opportunities this year to attend Fair Oaks Farms, and do their swine operation, their dairy operation, and get to see what agriculture outside of Hagerman, New Mexico looks like. So Fair Oaks Farms is actually going to be sponsoring our hotels for the first 2 nights and helping pay for foods, helping cover the costs to make it more efficient for our students to be there. From that, we will attend National FFA Convention. We actually do have the opportunity, even though none of us speak Spanish, we get to work this National Spanish Creed Invitational once again.
You're welcome.
But it's a great opportunity to see things outside of Hagerman. To me, I kind of see this National Spanish Creed kind of starting with the support of Miss Dennis. She started it here in New Mexico, and it's grown from state invitationals all the way to a national invitational, and soon it hopefully will be a national conference, which will be kind of a big deal to see it continuously grow and supporting a different version of what FFA Creed stands for. If you guys ever get the chance to listen to the Creed in Spanish, it is a whole different world. It is one of the most crazy things I can ever hear.
Well, not to, I was on the Zoom call for it, not to interrupt your presentation, but they're now researching at the national level a way to use AI technology that any student in any language to present the creed for a multilingual contest.
And so it's a really great opportunity for these kids. I know it's going to take up our Wednesday getting the tour Indy, but it's also a way for us to get back. This trip's not just about having fun, but it's about education and giving back to our community and the organization that the Blue Jacket stands for. Our ultimate goal and purpose for this trip is to get to experience Fair Oaks Farms, experience National FFA Convention on a higher level, and allow these students to visit. Rowdy's a graduating senior. We'll have Luke and Grady getting close up to graduating candidate, and allow these kids to visit our career and college readiness expo, things like that, experience something outside of Hagerman. I don't think, Rowdy, Luke, have you flown? Okay. But the rest of the team, other than Grady, has not flown. And so it's a great opportunity for these kids to get outside of the state. I think I've covered everything on here. We will leave October 20th, Sunday. We'll fly in Indianapolis, Indiana, rent a vehicle. Hopefully it's not another rental car-ish day like 2 years ago, but we will drive from Indianapolis, Indiana to Fair Oaks Farms, stay there 2 days. On our way back, we'll get the tour of Purdue and a couple other places on our way home. And then we'll stay in Indianapolis, Indiana, the remainder of Tuesday night and come home Saturday morning, hopefully in time to be for the trunk or treat. That's time for questions.
Flying this time, that's good.
We're flying this time. I'm down the drive, but it makes it a long week.
Question? Does Rowdy have a speech or something?
Rowdy, I think Rowdy should say something.
Rowdy?
Mr. President?
Say the creed in Spanish, or you don't get to go.
Quick translate, phrase.
AI.
Rowdy is our president. Grady is our vice president. He is at work tonight. Luke is our secretary. Candid is our reporter. Kylie back there is our student advisor. Amber is our treasurer. Mr. Hensel is my co-advisor. And so we're asking for permission. And Landon's at football. Is that all? Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Well, I make the motion to approve.
By Trevor? I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank y'all.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. See you, Rowdy. Can't do, we'll see you.
My speech, Rowdy.
Rowdy talked a lot this last week.
I think he talked so much during the state fair, he's just.
You burnt out.
He's wore out. Next item is Ms. Reyes to the Permian Basin Convention.
So, you know what, I don't know if you received the new copy of the agenda, but I do have,
Am I skipping one?
yes, I have the approval of Hagerman Municipal Schools to be part of the PBI-Z. Do you not have it on your agenda?
It's not.
I forwarded to everybody. That's the one I sent Friday, but then yesterday I amended. I mean, if not, we can discuss it. I mean, it kind of goes together with the approval for the travel.
Okay.
Okay, but we can, we can postpone the. So you do have this in your binder, and basically what this is. So I would say that back in November last year, we were contacted by the Permian Basin And basically just to see if we wanted to participate and be part of their, you know, if you really think about it, I mean, the Permian Basin, you know, they're located in like oil field companies in Midland, Odessa, and they're just all over. So what their interest is to be able to have kids that are proficient to be in the work field. And so what they did is they want together with the the partners, we have Dexter Schools, Hagerman Municipal Schools, Lake Arthur Schools, Eastern New Mexico University, and then Southeast New Mexico College. So we are the ones that are collaborating with this. And basically what we are doing is we agreed, you know, to have CTE pathways, which will be shared among, you know, the districts. So for example, the Permian Basin, they applied for a grant, and it is going to be a 3 to 4 year grant. The first year, which is this year, it's the planning year, and they received $215,000 to be able to plan for, you know, what is it that we want to do. So basically the plan is to, if Dexter, they have a program that we don't have, then we can send our kids to Dexter. And, you know, the Permian Basin will be able to pay for our kids to go to the other schools, or the other schools, you know, can come to us and, or to the university. So basically the first year, it is just a planning year. And, you know, again, the benefits of this model is collaboratives, you know, to establish CTE pathways that align with the local job markets to prepare the students for high demand careers. And I think it's a great opportunity for us. And you know, this is going to be, this year it's going to be all planning, and the kickoff, it's going to be on the 25th. I will not be able to attend that meeting because I do have a training in Albuquerque, but I have invited Mrs. Montes and Alan to be, you know, be able to go for the kickoff meeting. However, there is a training, and this is part of the, this is going to be in Houston, Texas, and you know, it's part of the planning year. So that's, you know, if we do decide to go ahead and do this, which I think, you know, it's going to benefit our students, then we need to be part of the planning year. So we're going to be collaborating throughout the year. The training in Houston, Texas, it's going to be just to see what other schools are doing in Texas. And, you know, a lot of the small rural schools. So with that, I am requesting, you know, to be able to attend this, you know, this training, and there will be no cost for the district. Everything will be paid by this grant, and, you know, this grant will be overseen by the Permian Basin. So they will pay, you know, for the flight, they'll pay for the hotel and any other expenses that would be. It is starting on October the 1st through the 3rd. So with that, you know, I stand for questions.
This is your schedule right here?
That is the schedule, correct.
So item C and D, we can approve at the same time.
Yes, so correct, So basically, C, it's the approval of, you know, for us to be part of the Permian Basin Innovation Zone. And Alan, do you have anything else to say about the PBI?
Just from the few meetings I've attended, it does have some benefits. I'm more curious to see how the collaboration is gonna work between schools. From my short time kind of attending a lot of these CTE meetings, is a big thing we're seeing in the state. And I think this is going to be a way to support our kids in that way, as long as it doesn't jeopardize current programs. And doesn't jeopardize what we have here, what Lake Arthur has, what Dexter has, instead of allowing us to collaborate and kind of grow and build some of these CTE a little bit stronger. I'm really curious to see how this planning year is going to turn out and look at more of the information. And so I know next Wednesday we're going to see a lot of that information, how kind of the breakdown is going to be on this Dennis and I. So.
Is it the whole state that is part of this or just
No,
like
it's
certain?
actually just, it's Hagerman. So it's Lake Arthur Schools. You see like where it says collaboration, it says our participating partners are Dexter, Consolidated Schools, Hagerman Municipal Schools, Lake Arthur Schools, Eastern New Mexico University, and Southeast New Mexico College.
So Hobbs with their Career Tech Center, they actually have kind of a Permian Basin with some of the schools around them where they're sending kids to, in a sense, they're all coming to that Career Tech Center where it's at. Rio Rancho is doing something a little different. Albuquerque Public Schools is doing something different. Gallup McKinley Schools District, I don't know what they're doing over there. They got some crazy stuff going on over there. But a lot of school districts are starting to joining forces to kind of, hey, we have a brand new welding facility. If students want to come and take a dual credit class their senior year to get that certification, they would come here. We don't have an automotive program. Maybe as their senior year, they have an extra elective, they can go do an automotive class at Dexter, nursing, vice versa. Bringing a couple more opportunities for something that we can't house here on campus because we don't have the staff or the facilities.
So maybe
If that makes a
even
little more
the
sense.
medical or culinary.
Right now, our region's push is welding, agriculture education, nursing, and cybersecurity. That's our region case push right now. That's what they see our region needing in 10 years.
So I really wanted Mr. Parker to attend this, but then, it conflicts with Fair Week.
Yeah, I'll be at Eastern though. I'm losing it today. It's okay. I'm not losing it. It just it's moving.
I felt it.
Okay, the building just moved.
I felt it.
You felt it?
Yes, I felt it.
Okay, 'cause I was like, why am I moving right now?
Sorry.
Taking my chair. I felt it.
I just said to Maya, I was like, did you push me?
We're going crazy. It's been a week.
If you're going crazy, this whole row is too.
But this is a cool. I think that this is a really interesting opportunity. I wish it was not during Easter.
Any other questions? We'll just keep the items separate. So one item is to become part of the PBIZ.
Okay.
Become part of this. Hagerman Schools. So I see a motion.
I'll make motion.
Dusty.
Second.
All's in favor, say aye. All's opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item D was for Ms. Reyes to attend this conference, right, in Houston.
Correct.
Say a motion to approve that.
Make motion.
By Dusty,
I'll second.
second by Trevor. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item E, PBIZ. This amendment to the secondary student handbook. Ms. Reyes.
Okay, so board, we have a question, and that we should have known when we made a new handbook that there was gonna be things that we figured out along the way that needed to be corrected, amended, and approved. And tonight we come before you to ask for a change. I've been keeping notes as we've started using the new discipline matrix, as we've started using the new handbook of things that we're encountering. We felt like this one is more urgent and doesn't need to wait for the year. We're asking for an amendment to page 16 to add a section about student scheduling. Currently, there's nothing in there that really says much about how scheduling works, and we felt like it's in our best interest as a administration and office staff to add in a section for student scheduling. And so as it reads, it says student schedules at Hagerman High School are designed to prioritize academic needs, align with post-secondary goals, and reflect individual student interests. These factors ensure that each student's educational experience is tailored to support their success both during and after high school. While we understand the importance of social dynamics and parental input, these will not be the primary consideration when creating or adjusting schedules. Students may request changes to their schedules, but such changes will only be made within the first 3 days following enrollment and only in the instances of scheduling errors, course duplication, or credit needs. After this period, schedule adjustments will be considered only in exceptional circumstances and must be approved by school administration. We'd just like some clarity so that we have some substance in when we make a decision and there's something that's backed up in policy. be willing to consider the amendment to the current handbook, we would greatly appreciate it.
Any questions?
This is not one of those where we gotta read it 3 times. That's a policy, right?
That's a plus.
This is just the handbook.
It's just a handbook.
Okay.
Three days is adequate enough for schedule changes?
Typically, when we start back to school, like the kids have picked up schedules the week before. When we get to school, they give us the time to make sure. Instances in the past where we've dealt with this has been, oh, you have 2 math classes and no English class and stuff like that. Sometimes as we're making schedules, because we still Kara hand wrote every student's schedule, all 180 of them, I think, before the start of school, before Daniel was able to create sections and build it into Synergy. And so usually 3 days, if we started on a Thursday, we just wanted to have everything set by Monday so we can move on. If we don't have something, we're entertaining, I want a schedule change, I'm not in the same section as my friends, I don't really like this teacher. That's usually an argument that falls pretty short with us because we usually pretty much have one teacher for whatever subject they need. But there gives us some instances that we can kind of say 3 days is, and 3 days from enrollment. So if we had students enroll mid-9 weeks, they would still have 3 days, just like somebody who started his first day of school. Usually within the first 3 days, we can figure out any major issues that are happening or any, duplication. Tara has already gone through and looked at what everybody needs credit-wise, but it just gives us a little bit of insurance. And then, like I said, if we don't have something that says a limit, we're going to be fielding requests all year long. So we just are asking for something put in writing so we have a leg to stand on when we say yes or no to the situation.
Any questions?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Dusty,
I'll second.
second by Trevor. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Item F, SRO MOU for 2024-2025.
President Moss, you do have the copy of the MOU. There's really no changes. Everything remains the same, and we should be okay. The town, everybody signed it already, so.
Yeah, it was approved at our council meeting last week, so they approved it and signed it then. I think the only thing that changes is the dates.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we do have, and I think there's a section there that says that,
Do we have anything changed on it, Michelle?
Oh, don't go there. I don't know, why don't you call your attorney?
But actually, we do have to mention is that, it will be prorated because, as when we start. But everything's the same.
No questions?
I will make the motion to approve it.
I will second.
You sure? You need to call her first?
We need to get her on the phone.
Yeah, get her on speaker.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. We stay on silent. Vista's designation presentation.
Okay, so today we are going to do the secondary. Lori did I don't think Mr. Williams left.
You didn't prep you for the elementary?
No, that's okay. He can do it when he comes back.
You want me to go first or have to?
Let's start with high school.
So real quick.
Yes, sir.
What grades are,
So high school is 9 through 12. Middle school has a report that covers 6 through 8. I believe last November we talked about this with the 21-22 data. This is the 22-23 data. We're always a year behind in what we have available to us. If I remember for the conversation Mr. Reyes and I had, This data that we're gonna talk about today is reflective of the seniors that just graduated
Okay.
in May. This is the math and the other data that's involved in this report. Math, reading, science, was measured during those kids' junior year. So we're looking at historical reference here. So, but we'll talk about some things and I'll answer questions, attempt to answer questions as best I can.
There was an earthquake.
There was an earthquake? Okay.
Yeah, Rochelle, we're looking it up.
And so and if you have any, I mean, this is something that you could spend a lot of time checking data out if you're so inclined, but I'll try to give a little bit of light to this. This is our high school report. It does indicate that we are a CSI school designation for graduation, meaning that we are ranked, that's related to our graduation rate not being above a certain point. Our school score here, we are at 50.9, which is almost right in the middle. Definitely have room for improvement, but I think with the teaching staff and the administration and some of the goals and things that we're working towards, we will hopefully see this trend in a positive direction for the district. There are 3 areas of proficiency that are measured: math, reading, and science. You can explore each section. It says that we are a little bit greater than or equal to 10% for math proficiency, 25% in reading, and 17% in science. You click on these sections, it'll tell us where students are expected to be. It breaks it down. Now you can see some of these are in the bar chart are missing information because of for different reasons. You can toggle the table and it'll break it down and show us that all students in New Mexico are at 24%. Hagerman students are at 25% for math proficiency. It breaks it down in varying demographic groups, where it does say masked. It's either not enough students in our school, or it would be very telling of what student that is, because our populations of certain groups are going to be so small, it could be 1 student. And so that is why that data is masked. We are a little bit above in some, we're a little bit below. We do have some room for growth in our math proficiency, math performance levels. But that is the math. Parker, would you take it back, please?
Could you step to your left a little bit? Yeah.
Thank you. So the reading proficiency, 25%. That measurement of students reading at the expected level or higher for their grade. We assess students in grades 8 through 11 every year. And it's adjusted by the number of students who are participating in the assessment. Again, we can toggle the table. We're just a little bit below the state average. The state average is 38. We're at 37. Breaking it down again, all the different subgroups that is measured here for our students. Overall reading participation. And then the science proficiency is at 17%. And we'll toggle the table. Science, we do have more room for growth to be at or close to the state, but I'm also confident that we're making strides in that direction to get us to where we need to be. The high school is 17, our whole school is 26. So you can see that data. It goes down to show some growth. We saw a trend down in math. I think we are all pretty familiar with the struggles we've had in our math department over the last several years. I am very hopeful that we are going to see positive trending because we have a lot of things. I know, especially here at the middle school, we're seeing a lot of intentional decisions being made for either intervention, more tutoring opportunities, and then different programs that we're including in their daily instruction to hopefully boost that math proficiency level. Reading, we see positive trend growth in reading compared to previous years, and then our graduation growth. Graduation growth is kind of an interesting one, and since that is our targeted area for our designation, you can look at different things. It talks about the four-year graduation rate over 3 years. It talks about our 4-year graduation rate for the class of 2022, their adjusted cohort. So when a student starts, they are part of a cohort and it follows them for a certain number of years. And so even several years ago, students could still have a potential impact on some of our data. Our 5-year graduation rate is 71%, and then our 6-year graduation rate is 83%. We are showing positive growth. I think Ms. Reyes, what was the number we talked about today?
So if you scroll down,
Yes,
no, that's, oh, sorry,
the 6 year?
the other way. Go to, keep going.
Yes, ma'am. We're at 89
Okay,
for the
so
4 year?
that's what we currently have, 89%. So as you can see, we have increased. And then, actually, the one for this past year, it's already out, but it's still embargoed. But we already made significant progress as well. Unfortunately, when we have students, if they move to another school and they decide to quit, it hurts us. And then we do have several students that actually drop out, and that's what's really hurting us. But it's not bad at all. If you look, if you explore go to the, okay, explore this section where it says graduation growth. So we had an 8% growth, but if you look down, now go to toggle that table. And that's what we currently have. If you look at all, New Mexico, they have the rate of 76% and Hagerman, 89. So that we are higher than the state. Yay!
And like I said, these reports are very informative. They're great. Gives us some things to work on in some ways to measure some of our progress and our success. Some things to point out, things that I think that we're doing really well. These 3 areas of English learner progress, college and career readiness, and regular attendance are all things that we work well on. Highlight the English learners for our district. 7.7 overall English learning progress. When Ms. Reyes and I were looking at this table here, we thought it was pretty impressive that the New Mexico average is 13, but we're at 21 for our district. And I think it's a huge testament to the work, especially at the secondary level, that Ms. Melendez does with the English language learning program. She's doing fantastic work every single day.
And I like to say that now we have a new bilingual director.
Oh, we do have a new bilingual director.
Yes,
He's
that's
also
Mr.
here.
Richards. He's our new bilingual director.
Forgot that we're going to talk about
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Forgot about that. And then college and career readiness, this speaks to a lot of our CTE programs that we're doing. We want to continue to grow that number, and I think under Mr. Parker's hard work, we will see a lot of growth there. And the involvement in things like the Permian Basin program. And then, of course, attendance. This is something that we really want to see improve, and that was part of the reason why we started the daily tracking of attendance and measuring the different goals. And I honestly want to speak to that attendance for a little bit, as far as I know that when we passed the handbook and the policy on the attendance, we were a little skeptical and we're wait to see. I think it was the right move because we're seeing a lot of improvement, and really some of the issues that we were seeing, we have not thankfully seen so many this year. And it's still early, but I think some of them we would have already started to see in a bigger way. So I think that's been pretty positive. Really working on trying to get kids here on more than 90% of the school days. And like I said, today we had, I think it was 97.7% attendance, and we're going to keep that up. And we also want to highlight it with the kids so they can be part of that. And I know, go ahead.
On the migrant attendance, do they factor in even when they have to go back?
Actually, when they have to go back, we have to disenroll them. So they withdraw. And then they have to come back and they have to enroll again. Because if not, then it's going to hurt our attendance tremendously.
For the time period that they're gone, because it's in excess of like the normal attendance. So. And then down here, we didn't really get into these, and those are something you might want to explore on your own when you have some free time.
If you go back up,
Yes,
or where if you look at the explore not the attendance, but the graduation growth. So the only reason that we at the high school were categorized as a CSI, a school with a need of improvement, is because if you go down to the
6 year,
6 year. Okay, well, look at that one right there. So that's 71%, yes. Because we only have 71% of our students that had, and then.
That was for the 2021.
Yes, so
it's not toggle.
It's right below.
It's right below, there you go. So if you see the state for that year, which was back in 2020.
This is 2021, the 6 years.
21, yes. So if you look there, New Mexico had an 82% graduation rate. Hagerman, we had 71%. So as you can see, we were really low. And then I believe the year before that, it was 63%, but that was during COVID. So that's why we were placed on, that's our category.
Our CSI designation, yeah, this is the 2020 data, and this state was 84, we were 83 that year.
So for 2 years, we were lower than the state. But now, for the past 3 years, we've been
trending.
But if we get one kid that doesn't graduate,
It hurts.
Well, when we only have a class of 25, yeah, one hurts a lot more than if we were a school that had a graduating class of 320 and we had one not graduate. We were having that conversation the other day in the counselor's office. Somebody said they need to be a certain percentage, and like, well, you got to be in the top 3 to meet that percentage for their stuff, the scholarships and things like that. So it's a little bit different when you're a small school.
And because we are, and I think, we talked about it at the last board meeting, because we are a CSI school, we have to have a plan in place. And the state, they provided some funding, but we have to, and you probably think, oh my gosh, there's so much that they're doing. Yes, it is a lot, but I really think, and I see that we're making progress. We are really making progress, and, it's everybody working together. It takes a whole village.
There's been a big difference this school year,
Mhm.
you can tell.
If you have any other questions, if you want to see middle school stuff, it's pretty similar to middle school. Difference at middle school, we don't track graduation because they're not graduating.
But you have access, this is actually public.
You just Google in Vistas, it'll pull it up and you can see all of it and explore, and it'll show you every school. You can compare us to our neighbors if you are so inclined.
I like to look at a bunch of different schools.
I usually look at where I went to school and where my friends and where my siblings teach and those kind of things. So we can have good conversations at family dinners. We've only been banned from talking about IT 2 or 3 times. So. Any other questions or any of the things that we're doing here to try to address some of this? Like I said, we're working pretty hard and trying to get some things done. I know something I didn't talk about in my report, we have kind of restructured one of our math classes based on student needs this year. And we're working to get everybody where they need to be so they can be successful this year.
So with some of the funds that we got, like a reading interventionist, would that be beneficial to us?
At the secondary level. So basically, and I believe I did provide, let me see if I can find you what we did. So what I did, we are getting the professional development. So basically all the new teachers, they will be getting so we contracted with a company called By Your Side, and there's tutors that will come and actually provide professional development for the teachers. They'll provide them with strategies. It would be great. It would just be great to have an interventionist, but that's usually more at the lower, to be able to intervene at the lower level. At the secondary, it's so much difficult because the kids are going to feel, not successful, and I don't think that they'll be wanting to have an interventionist. But we contracted this company. It's called By Your Side. Donna Todd, I believe that's her name, and she will be working. So we're just waiting to get those funds approved and give us the go, and then we will go ahead and sign everything. So basically, what they will have is they will have tutors for the principals, or both of the principals. This is only the secondary, and then they will have tutors, or working side by side with the teachers as well. Okay. And then we also, part of that grant, we will be hiring a person that could do SEL with the students and, be able to provide, so we need a therapist for that too. And that would be contracted through the REC. Then we also have some other programs that we have purchased. One of them, because, we do have to improve our graduation, and one of them is Edgenuity. We have already started providing the students with a credit recovery class. And so we do have, students, because basically we have to do something. What are we doing for those kids so that they can graduate? So we are providing for the kids that have failed, and they just really didn't show up to summer school. So now we are providing them with educational classes after school, and it's Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, we started the Tuesday after Labor Day. I think there's about
We have like
8 to 10 kids in that group that qualify that or have a need of recovering credit. They, like Ms. Ray said, they were either unsuccessful in finishing it during summer school or did not opt for summer school because they have other obligations. And they are asked to come 4 days a week here to the middle school from 3:30 to 4:30 and work on their credit recovery. When they're done with that, whatever course or courses they need, they don't have to keep coming, but they have that opportunity to come to school and work for a dedicated hour. They have a teacher on site to help support them in that process.
And then we also purchased other programs. We purchased the Ingenuity, and then we also purchased another program for the kids to be able to help them with their SAT. And the juniors take the SAT at the end of the school year, so this program will help them to be successful.
The By Your Side program?
No, it's Horizon
This one
Education.
it's separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Horizon Education is for the juniors to do SAT prep, and they don't take the SAT until the end of March.
And then I also put in to be able to get an attendance liaison. Right now, I do have an attendance liaison, but that person is not being paid through the grant. It's just one of the, part of her day.
One of her many hats.
One of her many hats.
Has attendance been good?
Yeah, I think for the most part, we've really seen an improvement. It's I can't speak to what elementary attendance looks like. I know that I had a conversation with the teacher who's tracking that, and they are concerned about elementary attendance. We've attended the past 2 Mondays. The admin team has been part of the New Mexico PED. We had some attendance workshops for schools to log into and talk about different strategies and different, much like the MLSS system that we do for interventions for academics. They're talking about MLSS or MTSS support systems for improving attendance. Today's conversation, we've had 2, we'll have 2 more every Monday in September. The conversation I had with today about that with the teacher is that elementary is struggling. It's hard with elementary kids because they don't drive themselves, and a lot of them are reliant on the adults in their lives, and unfortunately, the adults in their lives aren't always people to help them meet those needs. So. The frustration that I was hearing on that attendance call today was that a lot of times, like that's what we're seeing. We're seeing elementary age kids or even middle school age kids who are not driving, who are not able to get themselves up and out the door to come to school, really falling through the cracks. And then at the state level, we don't have a lot of, there's got to be some teeth for parents to be able to make it a reason for them to get their kids to school too. So there's a lot of conversations and they're interesting meetings to attend on Zoom. Lots of things. And the takeaway that I had from the first one is that we're not alone in this. We're not the only school who has attendance issues. That's something that happens everywhere. So that's what we're working on, and we'll keep on going.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, Ms. Reyes, Superintendent.
Okay, so, and Cody already mentioned about this, so the administrators, they are attending the attendance Zoom meetings, and basically, they do have to come up or create an attendance plan for each school. And these meetings, so they're gonna be monthly Zoom meetings, and basically what they do is they have like different modules. Last week they did module 1, today it was module 2, and then they have 3 and 4. And then after that, then each administrator will create an attendance plan for each school. So basically the attendance plan is like, okay, what are you doing for the kids that miss a lot of school? What are you doing, what are you doing for all of the kids? Are there incentives? Because, you also have to celebrate success. And we do have, and I think, Mrs. Montes and I, we were talking today about, tracking the attendance. So that's something that, you guys will be seeing, whether it's on newsletters or we will post it in the classrooms, how the kids are doing, like for example, 6th graders, we have 97% attendance. And, if it's a certain, we need to be at least above 90%. then we will, they will come up with incentives for the ones that are meeting the criteria. So I think, I think we can do it. And at the elementary level, I mean, there was one day that I was standing outside. I mean, I try to do that every morning, but there was one day that I stood out there like sometime last week. And from 8, I would say from 8 o'clock, when the kids already have to be here, from 8 to 8:30, we have so many parents that were just pulling up and bringing their kids. So now, what I think is they need to be told. It's like, hey, kids are supposed to be here at a certain time and not at 8:30, not at 8:45. So, somebody needs to let them know, because if not, then if nobody tells them anything, they'll just come in at any time. So we definitely need to make sure that we keep that data and see how they're doing, so that everybody's on the same page. Okay, so again, there is an attendance conference, and all the administrators will be attending. This will be October the 28th. And, again, they will be learning about different strategies of how to keep the kids in school. Okay, so then each school, every 2 years, we have to create a literacy plan. And, okay, again, I wish we had funding so that we could hire an interventionist at the elementary level, because that's exactly where we need the interventionist. And so we do need to come up with the literacy plan. Literacy plans are due very, very, very soon. I mean, I do have to submit them to the state by October the 15th. And so each administrator, they will be working with their core team, which is, I'm sure you already have your team, right? That will be working on this, and they will put it together. What is it that they need for the secondary? The same thing at the elementary. What is it that they need to do so that they can have a literacy plan? Okay, so that's also coming up. One thing that I'd like to talk to you today about, and some of you said that you just felt an earthquake. It looks like we did. I just saw on the phone that it was an earthquake. So I just like to bring to your attention, and there is a pressing issue concerning the health and safety of.
It's a nice segue there.
It's like she planned it.
Yeah. Oh, that earthquake. So, this is, like it was planned, huh? And, for many years, we had dealt with bat issues. But now I see it as a bat infestation, and this is in the gym. And then recently, we have observed a significant problem with the smell of bat, the guano, which is this is in the auditorium. You go in there and it smells really bad. So, this is really it raises a health concern. So, after the recent earthquakes and, the last one we had, I think it was like sometime in April. So then, our maintenance team, Gary, he actually discovered that there's a large crack in the ceiling of the auditorium. And, we really believe that it has worsened, and that's what has caused the infestation, and you could see that. So Gary, I'd like for you to explain these pictures. Can you? You can see it over there.
That one's on the south side of the auditorium, right about the middle of it. And I think that's the same picture, just different angles. It's grown by about, in the last year, about 1.5 inches, probably wider.
So as you can see, that's sufficient space for, these little creatures to be able to get in. So I have been in contact with PSFA, so I talked to Sarah Walco from PSFA, and she is actually our consultant for our new school, and she was able to provide some recommendations of what we can do. And this has been an issue that has been going on for years and years and years. So I mean, but something needs to be done, okay? And I don't know if you knew, but bats are protected. And so anyways, in talking to our PSFA representative, she did say that she actually did some research and she was able to contact Mike Graves, and he is a specialist from Fish and Game for, safe bat removal. So basically what she recommended is for Gary to, you did say Gary, okay, no, the maintenance department to be able to monitor to see if the bats are actually, usually about this time, of the evening, they fly out. And we have seen it many times, when right after the board meetings, we have seen bats flying out. But we don't know if they're actually going in through those cracks, which I believe, they probably aren't. So, it was recommended either to put cameras or have the maintenance department to see if this is where they're actually coming out through. And then it was recommended to conduct an air quality testing, which, can be handled by a company by the name of Havana, which is out of Albuquerque. And then there's another company that they can come and do the cleanup, which is, I believe the company that's called Grandcore. So I'm like, okay, well, how do we pay for this? Because, what do we do? I mean, we've always had this issue. I've been here for 10 years and we've had these issues with the bats, but not as bad as it is now. Now it has worsened tremendously. And so anyways, she did mention to me that there's a school in northern New Mexico that they face the similar issues than what we do. And they were able to do a claim for the insurance and the insurance paid 100%. So we are going to do that. We have pictures so that they can, or they want to come and see it. I mean, construction for us will probably not begin, maybe 3 years. So we definitely need to make sure that we do something. And, and I was told, well, you do know that they're protected. I'm like, okay, who's protecting my kids? Because, it's a healthy concern. Every day, the custodians have to sweep up the barn. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention and then, just discuss some of the next steps that we need to take. I mean, if you know that something, better. So basically what they want us to do is to make sure during the day, we really can't do anything. We can't go up there. I told Gary, I said, Gary, go bring me some duct tape and then we'll just seal those. But I don't know, maybe a roofing company or something, but we can't do anything right now. Not during the day because the bats are safe.
Are they gonna migrate?
They do migrate, and this is probably, Gary, what do you think, like in November when it gets cold?
Yeah, when it starts cooling off and
Uh-huh.
their feet supply, it's out.
So just to let you know that the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to call the insurance company because we really believe that due to the mini earthquakes that I didn't feel this was just a while ago. I mean, I think that's why those cracks are getting bigger and bigger. And then hopefully, by the time that we get everything, then there will be time for these bats to migrate, and then we definitely need to seal that.
So once we migrate, could we spray foam it?
See, and that's what they have at the high school. Those cracks in the middle. That's what it is. It's just foam. So definitely we need to do that.
Be a great project for the
The
ag class.
CTE.
Yeah, CTE, there you go.
Get the letters.
So I will definitely keep you informed as to what other. I mean, we'll do the insurance claim, and then hopefully they'll be able to help us to pay for it. And if not, then I was told also from PSFA that we can apply for emergency funding. But I really don't see this as a huge project. I just think it's a matter of getting done, getting to it and I'd say we can get duct tape and we'll seal them. I think that's what we need to do. Okay, and Candy, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure, to
May I
have.
make a comment?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I have served on the House Education Committee and I love that committee. And it's very clear to me, and I think the rest of the members on that committee, that one size does not fit all throughout the state. What may work for Albuquerque doesn't work for Hagerman, Dexter, like Arthur, Loving. Now, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And therefore, whenever I'm hearing what Gary has had to put up with trying to keep the schools cool and everything, this is my comment to Albuquerque Public Schools whenever the unions came into my office and barraged me with all these questions. We needed more money for our teachers, and that's great. Look at your utility costs, and they're kind of going, do what? Whenever you're trying to cool down a classroom, whenever it's 110 degrees outside, you know what you have to deal with, and sometimes our grid doesn't support it. Okay? You might want to look at changing schedules, if possible. I know that there's a certain number of days that the schools are required to go to school. I did get that. And I fought for each school to be, each district to be able to decide whether they wanted to add extra days to their school or extra time to the school days. And the majority of the smaller schools throughout the state said they opted for the time instead of the extra week, mainly because of the teachers were having to drive in and everything, and that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know if the school board knows this, for the past 20 years, I've been giving out dictionaries to all the third graders. And you know what? I love these little third graders because I always tell each class, 9 years from now, whenever it's time for you to graduate, if you will invite me, I will be glad to come. And I've been to several of graduations. I've spoken at 2 of Hagerman's graduations. And I love these kids. Sometimes that's the first book they ever get. But it has lots of neat stuff in it as well. I'm thrilled to death about the number of ag students that y'all have enrolled. I take my capital outlay money and I put it to organizations that are helping our young kids become successful, become leaders in our community. There was I'm going to be polite here. There was a big mix-up over at New Mexico State where this money has to go through to be split up. Because what I do, I spend a big amount of my capital outlay on Goddard, Roswell High, Dexter, Hagerman, Lake Arthur, Artesia, and Carlsbad. This particular area right here. For some reason, Hagerman was left off in 2022 or 23, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, that problem will not happen again. What was the other thing I was looking at? Let me put on my glasses real fast. I'm trying to be pretty brief here. I wish those students the best of luck whenever they go to Indianapolis. That's an experience of a lifetime. Whenever you're talking about the Permian Basin Convention and that grant money that's there, but these young folks need to realize not everybody is cut out to go to college. And a lot of these kids do have to get out and start making a living to help the family income. And whenever we're talking about working in the oil and gas industry, they have to keep, people up north have to keep in mind that it's this area of the state that provides over 50% of the budget. And our leases down here pays for these schools, pays for the teachers, pays for everything, law enforcement, hospitals. The list goes on and on and on. But it's not just for guys, folks. It's equal opportunity for women. I have a friend that owns a major trucking company, and he would rather hire female truck drivers than males because females are more in tune to if there's something wrong with that vehicle they're driving. And we're talking wages, and whenever I tell people this, they're like, really? We may move down there. 3 years ago, the average pay for a truck driver in the oil industry was over $110,000 a year. Pretty good wages. Pretty good wages. Let's see, right now, Unfortunately, the PED is in a flux. There's no Secretary of Education right now. We've had several secretaries quit again, okay? I can't keep up with the number of secretaries that have gone through this past administration. And we just can't seem to get one in there that's gonna take the reins and let local people make the decision on what's best for their students. That's why this board is elected, that's why all these districts around here, why it's the locals that should have the final say, not somebody sitting behind a desk in San Antonio. That's just me, folks. I have to applaud our smaller schools. They are the schools that are succeeding. And one reason being, parental involvement has a lot to do with it. Plus the hands-on from the teacher that knows the community and knows it, can sense whether somebody in their classroom might be experiencing something major at home or something major in their life. I will back my smaller schools all the way. I just want everybody here to know that. I appreciate what y'all do. So that's all. Thank you very much for allowing me that opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate everything you do for us,
Yes,
Ms. Candy. So, one last thing that I do have is on Wednesday, the 18th, from 2 to 4. And Ms. Candy, you can help me with this, but we do have a meet and greet, the legislators. Will you be there?
On when is that?
The 18th?
Wednesday.
It's this Wednesday. I believe it's at the.
It
Civic
is
Center.
Wednesday. It's at the convention.
At the convention center.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it's all of the southeastern area legislators that are coming.
What time is it?
This is gonna be from 2 to 4. So if you guys, are available, that'd be great. And I just want to say that it was just announced that we already have a Secretary of State and of Education, yes. So this is actually Mariana Padilla. And she has been, the poor lady, she has been the interim. Every time that somebody quits, she steps in and she has been the interim for the secretary. So she was finally given the opportunity to be she's the sixth one in 6 years, 4 years, probably. 4 or 5 years, so she's the sixth one. So hopefully, the 6 is the charm. So hopefully, we get to keep her. And I just want to remind you that next Monday, we do have the NMSBA board meeting, and that will be in Tatum. So I know some of you said that you won't be able to come, but if you can, just let me know.
I don't think I'll be able to. I think we'll be reading caps. Sorry.
That's okay. Then we have the other one, but next month, hopefully I'll have more information. And I believe it's like the first part in December, and that will be at the embassy. And I'll send you information, that way we can get the hotels and stay there at the embassy. Okay. I don't have anything else, and I stand for questions.
Any questions? Let's need a motion to adjourn. Make the motion for Dustin.
I'll second it.
Trevor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my nephew. Yeah. My kids.
Okay.
So just